Hello, everyone. So today I have been feeling very depressed. Now, it's no secret that I'm schizophrenic. I share that openly with, well, everyone who wants to know, and also on my YouTube videos. And I suffer from major depressive disorder as a result. Now, even if you're not schizophrenic or you don't suffer from depression-based disorder or anxiety or bipolar or anything like that, you can still be depressed as far as your mood. You can still be sad. And I think I've put together four different things that can actually help you combating depression while you're in it. Now, I've come up with these four things while I'm depressed right now. And, a lot of the time it might not seem like I'm depressed, but I have a lot of practice with, covering it up and doing what I have to do. Like YouTube videos, for instance. So let's get started. Number one, have a baseline. Always have a baseline of thought to return to. Now, what do I mean by baseline? I mean, have this certain idea about who you are and your purpose in life and what you do on a daily basis to help other people to return to. Maybe it's just you are an artist, or you are a good worker, or you are a fantastic friend, or the work that you do actually benefits people, or you're building yourself up to be great in whatever kind of career you're doing or whatever kind of personal goals you have, whether it be to be a writer, even if you have a different job, or to be an artist, even if you haven't sold any of your art, or to be the best manager at a store, or to just manage your own business, small business, or to really just try to be kind to everybody that you meet, or try to push everybody in the right direction mentally and maybe even physically with exercise, or spiritually with your own spiritual beliefs. Whatever it is, always have a baseline that you can return to say, well, I'm really depressed today, and I even feel like killing myself. But there is something that the world will lose if you're not in it. Find that something that the world will lose if you're not in it. And even if you're very depressed, you think, okay, the world won't be better off, that much better off if I'm alive. Then make it your goal to have a way that you function within society or for other people, so that you'll have this baseline to return to, where you'll say, okay, maybe even if I hold open a door for people on a regular basis, then the world would be a little bit better than if I was dead. Or, the baseline can also be not related to suicide, but, okay, I'm depressed, but what is this getting me? How am I being productive by focusing on my depression and not focusing on being productive in my life? This is the hardest thing to tell yourself when you're depressed, and it's very hard for even me to tell myself. It's not like I'm a master at these tactics, but it's very important to not allow your depression to snowball, because the snowball builds and builds and builds, and once it finally runs into something and something terrible happens, you say something terrible to your family members, your friends, or you're just a mean person in life, if it goes on and on and on, you have to really think, okay, is me focusing on my depression, allowing it to become a bigger and bigger degree of depression, is that benefiting me or anybody else? And the answer is, of course, it's not. When you focus on your depression, even if you feel depressed, and you don't try to be productive in some way when you're depressed, then your baseline just isn't there. You have to have that baseline of, okay, the world will be a better place when I'm here, or, okay, I'm going to be productive, and if I focus on my depression, I'm not going to be productive, I'm not going to accomplish anything. Or even, okay, depression, how I'm looking at the world is creating a certain view of my depression being inevitable. Now, as somebody with major depressive disorder, this is very hard to say. Now, our filter that we view the world through, sometimes it can actually enhance the probability that we will be depressed any given day. So you have to look at how you were thinking. Think more positively, think more optimistically, and think more how you can serve yourself and other people. Then that will decrease the likelihood of you having depression and increase the likelihood that you'll be able to hit that baseline, to where you don't hit rock bottom or this bottomless pit that is depression. You hit a baseline that you've created for yourself. Two is support. Now, having support from family and friends, being able to talk to somebody, anybody, even coworkers that you get close to when you're depressed is very helpful. People's perspective that are close to us, about us, is oftentimes very supportive. Because if you have people that are especially close to you, they're not going to view you as a terrible person. They're gonna see you through the filter that they use to view you through. If you are close to a person, if you're emotionally, spiritually close to a person, even if it's just emotionally, if you have this degree of attachment, then that person will have a favorable filter towards you of how they view you. So it's good to really talk to those people and really view yourself through their eyes, and also get advice that maybe you didn't have perspective on. It's me, who's somebody who has studied spirituality and psychology and the nature of reality quite often. I often think nobody has a perspective that I don't already know. But in truth, these perspectives aren't necessarily about how much you know intellectually, how much you've thought about it. Sometimes a perspective is just a different angle from somebody's point of view. And sometimes this can shed light on a section of who you are and what you're going through that you didn't see before. So support. Number 2 being support. Find somebody that will support you, and even if it's just, even if it's just a teacher or a counselor, or even if it's like a depression or suicide hotline, or just find somebody to reach out to. Even if it's on Facebook, just be honest with a whole bunch of people and say, okay, look, does anybody have any perspective on depression and sadness? I feel like I'm worthless. I feel like nothing that I do ever works out. And I feel like, what is the point of me being here? And most of the time, if you are even acquaintances with enough of the right people on even Facebook, you can get good interaction and really good perspective. But that's last case scenario if you really aren't close to anybody. But because it can sometimes turn the opposite. But anyway, let's move on to number 3. Now, number 3 is outlet to be creative. Now, there is something unique about yourself. And there's something creative that you are good at, whether you know it or not. It doesn't have to be art, it doesn't have to be poetry, it doesn't have to be writing or any kind of liberal arts in regards to what you're good at or what your natural creativity goes toward. It can be something as simple as the ideas that you support, even if it's just political ideals or certain spiritual ideals that are very specific to your own spirituality, or if it's your understanding and appreciation for a certain group that's doing good for the world, or a certain group that you think needs to be supported. And sometimes it's just an outlet for your creativity is figuring out how you can do better at your job or career. Channel your uniqueness. Channel the individualized person that you are, that has never existed and will never exist again. Now, I believe in reincarnation, so I believe that, the soul travels on, but you as a person, this person that you are, I believe, and, a lot of other people believe, but I highly suggest this belief, are entirely unique in a way that will never exist again and has never existed. Figure out how you can channel that into an outlet to where you can be productive, even if it's not necessarily while you're at a job or a career, or taking care of your family or taking care of your kids. Find something very specific and unique about you to channel your creativity into, because there is something creative in you that maybe you don't even know. Just try and broaden your horizons and find that outlet to where you can just focus all your energy when you're depressed, when you're in sadness, when you're in loneliness. Now, I'm in all these things, and YouTube is one of my outlets. I have other outlets, art and writing, and reading, conceptualizing my reality, conceptualizing God, conceptualizing how the universe works and how the multiverse works. There are many outlets that I have, but you don't have to have as many outlets. Just find at least one outlet that you can just channel your productivity into and choose to be productive when you're depressed or sad, or even before if you're thinking that it'll build up into depression or sadness, so that you can have that. You can have something to channel all this energy into, to where you're turning this negative energy that you feel encompassed by into some kind of positive, productive, at least in your view, act and set of actions that you can consistently do to not only escape but channel, like I said. Anyway, number 4 is optional. Now, number 4 is find spiritual tactics or techniques to help you with depression, sadness, loneliness, anxiety, bipolar, what have you. Once again, you don't have to have disorder, or you don't have to be schizophrenic or anything like that in order to benefit from any of these steps. But the spiritual option, number 4, is... Now, my view of spirituality, I'm Hindu and I'm very much a universalist Hindu. I believe most spiritual paths lead in the same direction, but by different means. Different parts of the valley leading up to the mountain, different trails, but they all go to the same peak, in my understanding. But no matter what religion or spiritual path you're a part of, and this only applies to people who believe in spirituality, but even if you're philosophical, try to work out your own philosophy and read quotes and read passages from your favorite philosophers or even political thinkers or even artists. Try to view the world through their eyes because you are so connected to them ideologically, and try to enhance your understanding of the world through the people that you admire most. And this can even be your family members if you want to really converse with them. But spirituality, in the way that I'm talking about mostly here, is meditation is a huge. This is almost the first one that I'm going to mention. Meditation, it almost isn't even just spiritual. It's been proven through scientific study that meditation calms your nerves, decreases negative brain activity in the areas where depression basically exists. Or a lack of activity in the places that are most important for happiness, rather, and evening out your breathing, evening out your focus, bringing yourself down to an equilibrium of mental control can do wonders for yourself, for the people around you, and for your long-term progress as a human being. Now, a very simple meditation practice is to sit cross-legged and sit on a cushion or a pillow, the floor if you don't have anything, or even if you can't sit like that, you can sit in a chair with your back straight, and then hold your fingers like this on your knees, your pointer finger and thumb connected. Keep your back straight, of course. Close your eyes and keep them half open if you want to. In the East, that's how they do it. But a lot of time in the West, we want to close our eyes. Look up to the point between your eyebrows, kind of raising your awareness up the spine and towards your brain, which will kind of increase the flow of focus towards the top of your head, where you definitely want activity there. And breathe in very slowly and count maybe 3 to 5 seconds each time, but always be pretty precise. Breathe in and then hold it for a few seconds. Breathe out for the same amount, 3 to 5 seconds, and always try to make it the same no matter if you're doing 3 or 4 or 5. And then hold it out for the same amount of seconds that you held it in, and then breathe again. Do this for about 5 minutes, and you don't need a timer. If you want to use a timer, that's fine, but do it for as long as possible. And try to imagine your brain as having this balloon in the center of it, and it's pushing out all the thoughts that just spark forward. That's pushing out all the activity in your brain, and just have that empty bubble in your brain expanding. But don't think the words empty bubble, and don't picture the bubble. Just try to feel all of these thoughts just being pushed out, and try to have just no thoughts in your brain, so that your brain will reach an equilibrium of consciousness. Now, another spiritual tactic that I would say is I have certain incense that increase my mood. Frankincense is one of them. Chandan is another one. Or I might burn Nag Champa. And these all increase through smell, through our sense of smell, and through our sense of smell we absorb these ingredients, I believe. And it increases our vibration, I believe, brain chemistry. And burn those incense near you when you're feeling this way. Find the incense that you like. I'd highly suggest frankincense or dragon's blood or even myrrh. Or there's a plethora of Indian incense as well besides those that you can use in order to increase your mood. Now, there's another spiritual and the last spiritual tactic that I will suggest, because this video is getting a little bit longer than I wanted it to. Always have pictures that you can focus on. This might seem ridiculous, but always have your whatever being, if you're spiritual, or if you're just associated with family and you look up to your grandmother and she's gone, or you look up to your grandmother and she's alive, have a picture of her. Or if you're spiritual in the way that I am, have a picture of a guru or Krishna or Christ or any religious figurehead, a very loving and kind picture of that person. If you're Muslim, this might be kind of hard, but you can, of course, have the Arabic writing. And kind of have that in a place where you can really just look at it when you're feeling depressed or sad or lonely. to where, you know, you're focusing on your highest ideals and the really your savior in a way, even if you're not religious or spiritual, your savior, you're focusing on that, and you have, you know, certain incense burning, or you're just maybe just standing and really focusing on the picture, and allow that understanding of that being, that person, whoever they might be, to basically imprint on your brain, and just picture all the emotions that surround your connection to that being, that or that person. Picture all those emotions and all the different things that you might associate with that person or being, kind of surrounding them, and make yourself understand what it is to be that person or that savior, that being that you look up to so much. And that will increase your connection to them and increase your mental focus onto what you consider as your highest ideals. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I wanted to end this sooner, but, you know, once I get going, sometimes it's hard to cut off a video. I am feeling a little bit better, not only because I shared things with you, but because, of course, I burned incense and I focused on the pictures and the statues that I focus on in my own spiritual path. And I haven't meditated, but I have been looking for an outward focus through this YouTube video and through online writing. But anyway, I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm still depressed, to be honest, but I'm pretty good at hiding it. We get good at it, and I hope that what I've said today has helped you. And once again, those 4 different things are: have a baseline, have support, have an outlet for your creativity, and the optional one, number 4, is your spiritual practices. So thank you very much for watching, and if you have any questions, any comments that you want to put down in the comment section below, feel free. I try to get to all of them. If you like this video at all, hit that thumbs up down there, and I will see all of you in the future.